Frumess talks about Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Let's all talk about Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Mosquito from 1994, directed by Gary Jones. Here's the synopsis. Millions of years of evolution have just become mankind's worst nightmare. An alien starship crashes in a swamp in a U.S. national park. Some mosquitoes begin to feed from the aliens' corpses, causing them to grow to the size of a vulture. These mutant insects become very aggressive, killing every human being they find. Will the few survivors fight successfully against this nightmare? And I mean, that pretty much sets up what the beginning of the movie is. The movie opens, a movie called Mosquito, opening with a spaceship. It kind of reminded me of Night of the Creeps a little bit and The Thing a little bit. You don't really get to see the alien life form. We just know that there's something alien that turns these mosquitoes large and monstrous. And yeah. So this is movie 19. What an absolute blast this was. The cornucopia of Mosquito special effects is solid and mostly holds up really well in what starts out as a creature feature and eventually turns into Night of the Living Dead by way of arachnophobia. That really sums up the third act of this movie. They barricade themselves in the house and there are mosquitoes hatching out. I don't really think this is a spoiler. There's no way to spoil a movie like Mosquitoes, to be honest with you. In terms of like the mosquito, like I said, the special effects were great. We get mosquito puppets. We get crazy looking mosquito animation that's also blended with real life. There's a great shot in the first Batman movie, the Tim Burton Batman movie. The first time you see Batman looking down from a dark tower, and he turns and he sways his cape and goes to confront the two hoods. That is an animation. That's animation done against, a live action plate. A plate is like a static shot that you film and then you animate over it, or you put special effects over it, or whatever the case may be. And they use that technique a whole bunch of Mosquito, and it's really effective. I don't know why. Like, if they had tried to use like CGI, I mean, no, that this film could not have afforded to use CGI in 1994. But if they had, it probably wouldn't have looked as good as the animation. The animation actually makes it kind of more interesting in a way. And listen, any movie that does the Night of Living Dead, holding ourselves up, barricading ourselves in, just works in my book. It's great. It's really, really great. I love that shit. The mosquito victims also look really gnarly. They, when you get stabbed by a mosquito proboscis, as I learned they're called, you just get the puppets that they use. It's almost like cartoonish how all your fluids get sucked out of your body. It looks really horrific and not a fate that I would really wish upon anybody. It's funny too, because the mosquito pests, they seem extra interested in naked female campers in their tents. There's just a great sort of titillating scene is the way to describe it, where this beautiful girl, in her naked form, is basically just, I don't know, she's murdered by a mosquito in a very sort of sexualized way is the only way to describe it. As Jeff Goldblum once said, something about insect politics and all that, in The Fly, when he tells Gina Davis, he says, the funny thing about insect politics, they don't have any. And that proves true in this scene, with this buxom lady in her naked form having her juices sucked out by a mosquito. A lot of Freudian imagery. But done with a very humorous tone. Nothing really horrific about it. Kind of done in a comedic sort of tone, if you could imagine. We talked a lot about how horror and comedy are cousins, right? Something that they're like directly across from each other. So if you have something that's horrific, but it also might not be a little funny. So you get a lot of that with the mosquitoes in general, just sort of dispatching their victims in sort of funny kind of ways. We also have Gunnar Hansen, aka the original Leatherface, And he's kind of like, he plays like this antagonistic racist at first, and then he kind of has like a redemption arc where he ends up fighting mosquitoes with a chainsaw, and it's delightful. It's truly delightful to watch Gunnar Hansen take a chainsaw and fight oversized mosquitoes. But the real noteworthy aspect of this film by far, and it's amazing that people don't talk more about this. It's something, so it's funny too. I guess I thought this was a first time watch for me, but I had totally seen Mosquito. Like I'd seen bits and pieces on TV, but I definitely did a full rewatch because I totally remembered all of the third act as it was playing. And it makes sense that I would, because I am a huge Stooges fan. And the real noteworthy aspect of this film is the fact that you have punk rock legend and Stooges axeman, motherfucking Ron Asheton himself as a bumbling park ranger. This was the time, in the 90s, Ron Asheton, he was just sort of, bumming around. I don't really know what he was doing. He had some bands. He had a band called Dark Carnival, I think, and Destroy All Monsters for a while. And he had these bands, but like he wasn't really doing nothing. He wasn't doing stuff like the way Iggy's career was, like that undying career where he would have these ebbs and flows of productivity and success, but not really for Ron and his brother Scott. That wouldn't come until they did a proper reunion in 2003 on Iggy's album Skull Ring, where there was a full functioning Stooges reunion with 4 brand new written songs, one of which, Dead Rockstar. I mean, they're all great, but Dead Rockstar is on another level. It's truly a great Stooges song. In any case, here you have, he's got to be in his mid 50s, early 50s. You have Ron Asheton. He's in this like bit part. He's this character actor playing this bumbling park ranger. And it's so funny because like, that is the legendary Ron Asheton. That is the dude who influenced the Ramones. That is a dude, along with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Ramones. That is the dude, he himself would go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, so many people revere Ron Asheton. You know what I'm saying? Like just a legend. And here he is just, trying to make it as a B movie actor. It's kind of crazy to me. And with Gunnar Hansen, what a weird combination, right? I don't know. But by the end of the film, I began to wonder if Steven Spielberg had watched the ending of Mosquito before he shot the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, because the hero, one of the heroes, is saved by jumping into a refrigerator just before a house explodes due to Gunnar Hansen igniting sparks from his chainsaw, causing a propane buildup to ignite. And I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny too. I was like, oh shit, Indiana Jones right there. But way before Indiana Jones, right? About 14 years before Indiana Jones. I thought I had only seen bits and pieces on TV and considered this a first time watch until we got to that third act, right? I mentioned this already, where I realized that I had totally seen this film in its entirety. You can't go wrong with Mosquitoes for all the reasons I mentioned. Okay. Like you can't go wrong. You're just going to have a really fun time. Super goofy, super fun. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's great. It's great. So there's Mosquito. Oh boy, this next one. Oh, I keep forgetting. What did I rate Mosquito? I rated Mosquito 3 stars on Letterboxd. It is currently streaming on Shudder right now. I gave Family Dinner 3.5 stars on Letterboxd.